Hey Hoff, why don't you start the episode? Happy holidays, everybody. For those of you who listen to the show on a very regular basis, I apologize for the late episode. I think when I initially started Obscure Chatter, I tried to do a release at the beginning of every month, and that just hasn't been happening. You know, schedules are fun. But thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. So, hi, I'm Terri Doty. Welcome to another episode, a holiday special episode of Obscure Chatter, where I probably fail at attempting. Do you? I don't know. We can think about that later. But I'm going to do my best to stay on the topic of just the holidays, good Christmases. Mostly, if I can think of more than a couple. 36, that's kind of sad, isn't it? I did ask for questions, but not religiously. Again, if you ever have an inquiry for the show, you can message at Obscure Chatter on Twitter or through perpetuallyoffbeat@gmail.com. Let's see. So a little recap since we've last spoken. Since we last collaborated together, blah, blah, blah. We just were honest and open, and that's how I want to stay. So I guess that's why I note that I will do my best to keep things upbeat because, hell, I'm recording this on Christmas Eve. Ho, ho, ho. That just sounds more Green Giant than Santa. But maybe I don't know. I'm not that good a voice actor. Ask trolls on Twitter that are definitely blocked by me. But, anyways, Stephen and I have been very, very lucky and been stupid busy. Both as a writer and as an actor for me, and him as a producer, director, engineer, just all around Renaissance man. And so, yeah, the podcast definitely took a back seat. Which I appreciate you guys understanding that. But it's, oh my God, it's been kind of crazy, good and bad crazy. As well as, just trying to figure out, are we doing anything for Christmas? Like we had noted, I think both of us on Twitter, or maybe just me, like for Thanksgiving, obviously that kind of sucked because, the apocalypse, one of them. A apocalypse. We'll go Buffy with that. An apocalypse. There's always an apocalypse. Or is that supernatural? Again, tangent. But no, what I guess I'm still kind of grasping with is not spending time with friends and my found family and the occasional actual relative. I don't hate all of them. My in-laws especially, David and Karen and their two kids are still in China, and hearing the way they're living compared to the way we're living, sometimes it's really easy to hate on David and Karen. They seem like they're doing a lot better than we are, which I'm grateful because my niece and my nephew, we're getting really cute photos. So that's helping a lot. But my in-laws are definitely down because, they don't get to spoil their grandkids and bug Hoff and I about having kids. And one thing that I'm not used to is, this is kind of sad, I'm not used to relatives wanting to see things that I've done. And we can get into that in another episode, but nobody really cares what I do in my family. So it's like, oh, put on an episode of, what is it that you directed? Or what is it that you're in? Oh my gosh, I've actually heard of that. Or, just family stuff that, I'm just not accustomed to seeing. Even, Judy, sometimes she's like, I'm going to get lost. But, tell me about this show. And it'll be like, well, there are, humanoid motorcycles and ballerinas actually have a natural ability to ride on them. It's specifically this ballerina, but I miss that. I miss the vibe. And Last Christmas, I'll be honest, it was not great. Hoff and I did our best, but it was a hard Christmas. We tried to implement some new traditions for us, like Recovery of an MMO Junkie. The first episode was the first time that I'd ever been exposed to the idea that in Japan, around Christmas time, they're really into fried chicken. That is likely a generalization, but I had to have that explained to me why in the first episode, Moriko is in the checkout line and she looks at, a little rotisserie area, and there is a chicken drum with a ribbon on it, and it's Christmas chicken. And Clifford had to explain it to me, the director, and then Natalie Hoover was like, oh, and she gave me this whole rundown for it. But I really, I read up on it and I got really interested in it because for the longest time, I don't know about your family, but Christmas dinners or lunches or whatever the hells are typically just a Thanksgiving part two. And I was just fucking sick of it because I love Thanksgiving food, but I like it once a year. So, hell, I think we'd already done our episode for November. Stephen and I did very bare bones Thanksgiving. We usually go all out, fresh ingredients, blah, blah, blah. But we did a lot of easy peasy stuff. And it was nice just for the two of us. And it was also my father-in-law, he's always tried to get us to just get KFC. For Thanksgiving, he's always tried to get us to just do KFC. And we're like, no, Ed, this. And so Thanksgiving, he was alone because Judy is now being taken care of by specialists. Ed just sent Stephen, a text. He's like, I'm having KFC today and I'm having KFC tomorrow. But the thing is, KFC isn't open on Thanksgiving. So what Ed clearly did was he bought it the day before and just waited or bought enough that it lasted him a couple of days. And like, hey, dude, whatever makes you happy. And it was delicious. Just such a rebel. But, we're doing fried chicken. It's our second year trying to do that. And I really like that. And we always have a good luck New Year's thing, but it did so well for us last year that we're considering changing the menu, for reasons. But that won't in any way be reflective of Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. But yeah, we're just kind of enjoying a little bit of time off because, like I said, Steve and I have been pretty busy. Luckily, we've been able to collaborate on the most major of the projects, and I can't wait to tell you guys about it. Is it anime? Is it a video game? Is it, something else entirely? Or maybe it's just a 30-hour-long industrial that I'm going to keep sharing about how to operate a new forklift. Voiceover is amazing. But we decided instead of doing presents, we would donate to organizations and also friends that are in need. If you're local to the Tarrant County area, which is where Stephen and I are, we've been locating to the Tarrant County or the Tarrant, I forget what it's called, like Tarrant County Food Bank or Tarrant Regional Food Bank, but they're an organization that's really been helping out a lot with people that need help with just food starvation. That's so stupid. Having to make choices that nobody should be having to make right now as far as what they can and can't afford to keep their families fed. And there's also the Arlington shelter program that helps not just the Arlington area, but most of the surrounding North Texas area as far as just those that currently don't have a home or are just currently misplaced, again, because so many people are having to, make difficult choices, whether it's moving or figuring out what to do when they're being forced to leave their home. But all of that, it's just a little bit trying to pay it forward because, like I said, I know that I and several like me, rather than talk about the little inconveniences of not being able to go into blah, 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 or I can't go here, which there are those people. We're just focusing on the fact that we're very lucky, and I hate to admit this, but I will admit this, and a lot of other voice actors and people in voiceover and just the entertainment industry that don't require one-on-one interaction, we've actually gotten busier. I've had a full home setup for a number of years and just moved to a whisper room a couple of years prior to now, and I'm pretty busy. And it feels wrong. I've said no to some work. I've been pitted against other voice actors in terms of work, where there was I'd say client, but I said no. And then I also sent out a mass text and warned some friends. There was someone that had messaged me personally, not through my agent or anything, and said, we would really love to work with you on this. And I said, sure, we can talk about it more. Here is my rate. And also, if you're not certain about talking to me one-on-one, here's my agent's information, blah, blah, blah. Because sometimes the agent is just a nice, additional party to kind of fight for you. They represent you as much as you represent them. And it's when it's a good agent, it's nice. I've had a really bad agent, too, that I didn't feel comfortable adding into a conversation. But they said, well, we're also thinking about this person who was someone younger in the industry and also someone that I just, I personally knew a little bit about. So they said, well, so-and-so is willing to work for this amount. And your rate seems like a pre-pandemic rate. So they were basically saying, we're willing to screw over your colleague if we can work with you. So what I did instead was say, no, thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. So-and-so is great. And then let so-and-so know that their rates are too low and what they tried to do. And I think so-and-so still took the gig, but I don't blame him. Blame her. And yeah, outside of that, I've been very lucky. Both as a writer, I've been editing a lot of manuscripts and scripts, doing some punch-ups and all that, which is all fun. There's a potential gig that I've been in talks for that isn't voiceover, and that would be really crazy if I got it. If I didn't, it's kind of crazy just to be considered for such a really cool gig. Wow, I forget. I've been doing this for a while, and it's nice to be considered for some really cool shit and be like, oh, that's right. Imposter syndrome is real. I deserve good things. Damn it. But yeah, so we try to donate, getting back to people that aren't me. We try to donate when we can, but I'm going to be real, the big kick in the fucking nuts is seeing other friends go through losing loved ones from COVID, as well as people we adore struggling with diagnoses, and just having to make some of the most insane decisions nobody should be having to make right now. The biggest one, which I will check, I believe her GoFundMe is still going, is someone who made me see where I belong My freshman year was the same year as this woman starting full-time teaching for the first, for like straight out of finishing her degree and everything. So my freshman year was her freshman year too, basically as a theater arts teacher. And she was immediately just someone that I admired. I thought she was gorgeous. I admired her confidence. And she was an actor, still is. Just this brightness is so contagious, and it always has been. Her name is Angela Stidham. She's been teaching and still teaching. She's moved around to different schools. She doesn't teach at the high school that we met at, which was Sam Houston High School in Arlington, Texas. But, I think I've mentioned it before, but I've since, I graduated, Angela. It's really hard to call her Angela. We would say Miss Stidham or Stidham. Angela and I became friends, which I realize now we were friends even when I was in high school. She helped me see a lot of stuff. She was also a full-figured lady. I've always struggled with my identity as someone who I've never seen myself as correct. And just like, when I lose this weight, I will be perfect and blah, blah, blah. And this woman was living just loud and beautiful all the fucking time. And she was my size. If not a little bigger or whatever, I don't care. She's slimmed down a lot since then. She's looking fucking like all Jessica Rabbit, fucking huge. Larger than life, beautiful. And I don't know, it started making me question a lot of my body image issues, which are always going to be a thing. But we did she pushed me to do community theater in high school, did a few plays together, like Lady Dracula, One in the Willows. I was her stage manager for a couple of times. And then now when I go visit her high school, I speak for the day to her classes, and it's kind of insane to be there and people be like, you were her first student. And that's when you realize like, oh, we're only like 8 years apart. And she went to college with my friend Mike McFarland, and other friends are like Caitlin Glass is like, I know Angela. I'm like, God, the world is so small, especially if you're in theater. But I kind of hadn't touched base with her. The last time I'd spoken to her was in April. And she was very vague, but just kind of saying like, I'm going through some stuff. And I'm like, well, if I can help, or if you need an ear or whatever, let me know. And I found out that she'd been, and still is, battling breast cancer, which is insane. She happened to be just hanging out with her dad, and they'd been on a trip, and her dad had noted that she had been seeming a little off, and with the pandemic, she kind of chalked it up to COVID, and then went in and found out that it was something that, should she also get COVID, could kill her. And it hurts because so many people just don't understand. When you see, like, I kind of consider myself whatever. I have it on my banner. When you meet me, I've got like a tall banner that one of the like keynotes, I'm like, I'm a bossy pants, I'm an actor, da da da. One of them is cynic. I am incredibly cynical, but I've always been in awe of her. She was kind of like a mom in a lot of ways. She helped me see where I belonged. Like, I'm an actor because of this woman. And she's just such a dear friend. I love her so much, so it hurts. It really does hurt. So, she does have a GoFundMe that I'll try to provide a link for on the episode description. And if not, please keep, if anything else, please keep her in your thoughts. If you're a praying type, I guarantee you that it's also appreciated. But if nothing else, hold the people that you can a little tighter and tell them how much they mean to you more. Don't wait for something bad to happen to them, to remind them that they're special to you. So that there's a lot to reflect on this holiday season, obviously, outside of just the immediate tangible stuff. I'm seeing a lot of friends struggling with their addictions, their just family, and just their lives. It's an insane time. So I've been been to be more mindful of my friends and I've been trying to do better at keeping up with people, and not just through social media. If anything, I deleted TikTok and I deleted Instagram. Those just became too anxiety inducing, and that's from someone who still has Twitter. But maybe I'll regret it after the pandemic is over. But I don't think I will. Like, a weight has definitely been lifted. And Stephen kind of inspired me to do it. We just found ourselves just at one point, our free time is very limited right now. And we had spent 2 hours each scrolling through our phones, not talking. And when we realized that, we both deleted TikTok. It was an easy decision, and, just texted the friends that I needed to text, or messaged the friends I needed to message before I deleted Instagram, like, hey, I'm getting rid of this. And they're like, oh, is everything okay? Like, yeah. I mean, I still get a lot of hate and everything from randos that really feel that they're entitled to my time. But honestly, the biggest thing is I just really fucking hate that Instagram is tied to Facebook. I left Facebook for a number of reasons. And whenever I said, hey, I'm leaving Facebook, someone went, yeah, if you still have Instagram, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, I didn't say that I was getting rid of it for any specific reason other than I just hated it. And then other social media stuff came too, but my gosh. And then, there was one really condescending post, and I know that this person didn't mean for it to be condescending. Someone went, rather than just delete your stuff, why don't you just take a break from social media? Like, rather than make this post, you can know that you don't know my story and just know that I'm deleting Instagram. Let it go. It's been nice, guys. Like, oh my God, whenever I take photos, I take them specifically just for me. Or like my dude, I take way too many photos of my dog. I did with Zoe. I will with Willow, whoever Willow's sister will be after this. I have a problem. I take a lot of photos of my dog, and I'm not ashamed of it. Please consider, rather than, it's kind of late, isn't it? Because it's Christmas Eve when I'm recording this, and I'm hoping that it'll also be released today. But it might be released on Christmas Day. So I'm sure so many of you are actually listening to this on Christmas. Sarcasm. But please consider, rather than buying a bunch of gifts, to help out people that might need a little leg up. And, if not, that's cool too. I ain't mad at you. So, what else? What else is going on? Holidays. Talking about holiday movies. We did have a question. And the only one that I think we only got one, which is fine. You guys are still awesome. I still love you so much. Oh God, where is it? Where? Okay. Let's see here. Oh, no. And then I also put a bunch of like, hey, do. So the one that we got from Joey Hickman, which Joey, I really appreciate whenever you submit stuff. It's pretty fun. But favorite gift idea you've had? I think for the longest time, my mother did this, where it's just, hey, so and so needs this, so we'll get this for them. Lately, I think it was Tatum that gave me this idea. He's like, I don't want someone to get me something because they feel obligated by a holiday or a birthday. I want someone to just be about their lives, see something, and think of me. That's what I want. And I've tried to adopt that. So when I see something that makes me think of somebody, I'll buy it and then hold it until, their birthday or holiday. Unless I'm really impatient. I'm really impatient with Stephen. I'd be like, hey, here are all your Christmas gifts, and Thanksgiving hasn't even happened yet. But gift idea-wise, I'd say it was probably for my friend Christy, which was, I got this idea from a creative writing class, which was I'm a basic bitch in a lot of ways. I love boxes, those tiny little it's supposed to be a stationery box. I'm like, whatever. No, it's not. Just, I need a box. Steven still does not understand. He's like, we could throw this garbage away. I'm like, no, that's a good box. Don't throw it away. But I found this cute little keyboard, this box that was made out of keys and actual keyboard keys, and dyed all these funky colors. I was like, it could be a jewelry box, but I don't know. And I just knew, I had seen it and thought of my friend Christy. And Christy had been kind of playing with the idea of writing poetry. So I got this general idea from a creative writing class and then went I guess a step further, which was I cut out buzzwords from magazines, made them individual, threw them into the box, and then wrapped it and gave it to Christy, which was the idea was you're supposed to snag just a group of words, lay them out, and create a poem using just those words. Filler words and stuff you can put in. And just seeing what an opportunity sets in motion like that. Just a tiny little thing where your creativity is forced to interact with words that you may or may not often use. And that's just always been one of my favorite things. I wish that I could do it, that I've done it. Oh my God, guys, I've been recording so much. I think I'm losing my blurg. I wish that I could do it more, but I haven't felt, I felt like that was a really big Christy gift. So I haven't done it since then. Maybe Christy's the only one that will ever get that. But, I'll say the funniest little cute thing was Stephen, we mentioned in his episode, as well as others, that he's a hunter and he really, really needed a good watch. So for one Christmas, we set budgets for ourselves, hey, don't spend more than this. And he's like, please don't spend more than this. And we kind of set that and fill in that budget however we want, however much or however little, with that being, there being a limit to how much we can spend. And we made it a whole 3 days into December before we decided to exchange gifts, and closed our eyes and had a handout, closed our eyes, and then handed each other the gifts. Because God forbid we actually wrap a fucking gift, Stephen. We just don't do it. Or it's by the time I've wrapped it, I've already made the decision that I'm giving it to him tonight. And it's Black Friday or something. I think if we had kids or we really did like big gift exchanges that we would be better at wrapping, but we just aren't. Maybe someday. But yeah, we handed each other gifts, eyes closed, and I'll be real, the thing I was holding was very lean and it was a hard box. And Stephen was like, "Do you know what it is?" Both of our eyes are still closed. And I went, "Did you get me a vibrator?" He's just busting up. He's like, "No, Jesus." And so we opened our eyes and we'd each given each other a watch. I'd really wanted the Apple Watch. And just don't judge me if you hate on the Apple Watch. I understand it can look a little derpy sometimes, but yeah, we'd each given each other a watch, and we just laughed till we cried about that. Like it was just a very that seems like a very rom-com thing to do, but he got like a Hunter watch by Alpha, and that just helps him triangulate shit. I don't know. A bunch of other stuff. He's like, "Oh, it has this too." I'm like, "Yeah." All the research that I did was very much like, I'm reading Hunter sites, and they're like, "Oh, you want to go with this one." I'm like, "Well, yeah, obviously." And, "Oh, but remember that if you do this." I'm like, "Yeah, I totally thought about that. Can you please just give me the fucking watch so I can get out of here?" But yeah, that was a really cute one. And I was actually talking to Stephen about this the other day, but I had an epiphany that one of my things is I was like, "What's your favorite gift that you got as a child?" And Stephen mentioned the Atari system. And I'm like, wow. He's like, "Did you get video games and stuff like that?" And I'm like, "I don't think we really did. We got a lot of hand-me-down stuff that just kind of appeared in the house, which I don't like to think too much about how it just appeared in the house. Like, was this? Are we robbers?" But I'd say that my brother and I didn't really start getting like cool gifts that I can recall until after my parents divorced. And that's when I realized a lot of these gifts were spite gifts. Gifts that really weren't about my brother or me at all. It was about like a, "Look what I got our kids. Look what I got our kids." But the most fuck you one was when my dad lived in South Texas and my mom actually had just recently moved us to Arlington. I know that it was when I was really getting into Buffy, because like I got like a Buffy style jacket, which I was, obviously I was obsessed with Buffy fashion. But oh my God, I got this really cool, my stepsister got this really cool like Buffy coat, like very sleek, kind of trench coat that was leather. And I got this kind of cool like vinyl thing. And oh God, I loved it. And then I also, showing my age, I got a 3-disc changer stereo. Oh my God. That's insane. And then I got something that at the time I was like, I wonder what about me made Dad think that I needed this. But it was a giant pink moose that was bigger than me. Like comically big. It was so soft. Basically, I think at the time I was either 13 or 14. I'm gonna guess 13, because if it was when Buffy, like I was just getting into Buffy, and there was a brief time when my father and I weren't talking, which was shortly after this, I think. That's a whole other story. But I want to say, yeah, like that was kind of, I don't know. There was a moment in junior high where my mom was kind of like, "You need to stop wearing Looney Tunes shirts. Start dressing a little sharper." Which now thinking about it, I'm like, fuck that. I'm wearing t-shirts now. I'm 36 years old. I will buy t-shirts. I think what I'm wearing now is almost exactly what I was wearing in high school. And I really like to think of myself as an old lady still wearing a hoodie, Chucks, t-shirt that may or may not be ironic. That I'm going to be pissed that you're focusing too much on the font that's around my breasts, wherever my breasts will be when I am an old woman, and jeans. That's a very Terri outfit. But I thought it was great, but it was a really inconvenient moose. And my stepmom, I keep saying stepmom, stepbrother, stepsister, but my dad was never married to this woman, but they were together for a number of years, and my stepsister and I were very close. We were only a year apart, and yeah, like we were just very much dorks together. So they were never married, but they were still stepbrother, stepsister, stepmom. Yeah, it was just an insane kind of gift that I just didn't get. But my stepmom worked for Southwest Airlines, and when we got on the plane, at this point in air travel, you could still be walked to the gate by your family. That wasn't going on the plane with you. My brother and I flew a lot alone, which now looking back on it, I'm like, oh my God, if I had a 13-year-old and I was like, yeah, enjoy the plane alone. Oh my God. Being a latchkey kid was quite a journey, y'all. I think it was that John Mulaney thing. He's like, I grew up just a little before people started giving a shit about kids, just that little window. But, there was a third ticket. And I wondered why there was a third ticket to go back home. And I realized it was for the moose. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I could have packed the moose somehow. It was already a heavy load back from Christmas because of the stereo and all my brother's stuff. My brother got like some really cool Power Rangers stuff, and that I secretly knew that I was going to steal from him at some point. I really loved the Power Rangers. I love that I'm saying that in past tense. But we get off the plane. My mother is there. My mother at this time drives a Mazda MX-6. Isn't that a great car for a mother with 2 kids? And a 3-part stereo and other Christmas presents and a giant moose. She looked at that thing and she went, the motherfucker. And I still didn't really connect it till later. I'm like, oh, that was just a have fun driving this home. Yeah, heartless bitch kind of moment that I guess an ex-husband, only an ex-husband would think of. I don't know. My mom actually tried to convince me to leave the moose at the airport because it wouldn't fit. So what ended up happening, and obviously I'd like to think my dad did not think of this, but the moose had to basically be put in a seat and then I had to sit with the moose. It was not a comfortable ride from Love Field back to Arlington. I don't remember what happened with the moose. If anyone knows anything about finding another giant pink moose that is the size of me, so roughly 5'10", let me know. I will settle for a croconana. A giant croconana, which I was planning on getting this year. That's like a 6-foot long croconana. Help me out here. That would be great. Because I've got all the other sizes. But I would settle for that. But if you could help me find a giant pink moose. I have no idea what happened to that moose. I'm pretty sure my brother just cut him open one day. But by then the moose had already served its spiteful purpose. Isn't that something? If you're a child of divorce, I really hope that you're laughing at this and not going, that's really sad. And if you're, someone that had parents that still loved each other when they were a kid, what was that like? Oh, trauma. So let's see. What other questions do we have? Oh, I wanted to talk about three movies that are either watched on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or leading up to New Year's. But I've posted about this movie so many times on Twitter, but it's still not enough. It's a 1996 Renny Harlin movie. Renny Harlin did Die Hard 2, which he got the gig from doing like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. He directed that. Renny Harlin at the time I think was married to Gina Davis, but Gina Davis stars in The Long Kiss Goodnight. It's got her, Samuel L. Jackson. It is my Die Hard. It is a beautiful, just sometimes cheesy. Yeah, there are moments where you're like, okay, but you can do that with Die Hard too. It's a great movie about a woman that has amnesia. It's Christmas time, and she gets into an accident, and that's when she starts remembering that she's a spy. You guys. Maybe she'll find out the name of, who her baby daddy was, because she woke up with no memory. But she was pregnant. Guys, it's an amazing movie. I'm underselling it so fucking much right now. I mean, how often do you get a chick just driving a semi-truck that is loaded with explosives and her daughter, but she doesn't know that at the time? Or maybe she does. I don't remember. And saying, suck my dick. That's amazing. That's an amazing film. And it was before people kind of stopped using Gina Davis. This was before the travesty that was Cutthroat Island. Give it a watch. Other flicks to watch. Obviously, there's Scrooged with Bill Murray. Great film. I love it so much. And maybe it's because I was an 80s baby. Because sometimes I was talking to Steve about Christmas Vacation. And he's like, I think that was a little bit before, my time. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Because I know what a dick Chevy Chase is, but I still watch it. And I love Steve Martin, Martin Short, the John Candy movies. I have to watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles every Thanksgiving. And John Candy's laugh will always get me. It's, oh my gosh, nostalgia bomb. And then, of course, there's Krampus from the same guy that brought us Trick or Treat. Krampus is just dark comedy. Adam Scott, Toni Collette, bunch of working actors, but it's got some beautiful animation sequences. It's good, creepy holiday fun. We're going to try some new holiday movies tonight and tomorrow, like the redoing Black Christmas that came out either the beginning of this year or I think it was last December. I've heard so things about that. What's another one? I don't know. I've already watched Die Hard. Long Kiss Goodnight is tomorrow. And Scrooged is tomorrow. I forget what else is tonight. And we watched Batman Returns last night, which sometimes as a film dork, I'm like, this is a really weird Batman movie. But Michelle Pfeiffer exists in a catsuit in that movie, so I don't care. Yeah, books. I'm starting it today and hopefully finishing it tomorrow, but it's The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. It's a great twist on the Scrooge mythology, being that this girl, is shown, her past, present, and future if she doesn't change her ways. And she doesn't change her ways, and she dies. So she becomes a part of the Scrooge organization, which is, an organization of dead people and spirits that elect a Scrooge every year and try to save them. And now she's part of that organization. It's a great book. Some people are hit or miss about it, but it's got some YA feels and it made me cry at points. I like a holiday read sometimes. Other times I'm like, oh God, we get it. And then been watching like holiday episodes of Supernatural, Friends. It's all fun. But yeah, I had other stuff, but I wasn't planning on rambling the way I did, which isn't that always the way? I really, really hope that you guys are staying safe out there. There are definitely people that I even personally know that upset me about the way that they're approaching this. I'm like, well, yeah, but it's the holidays. I'm like, oh, that's right. I forgot. Mutations that are coming out and everything. They're like, oh, wait, it's Christmas. Carry on. I'll wait here. I was total TMI, but, not TMI. It's not disgusting. Fuck off, Terry, from a few seconds ago. I was at the liquor store the other day, and I saw a woman with an emotional support parrot, which, no judgment. There was a little bit of judgment because she wasn't wearing a bra. She was taller than me, and it was me and all the other basic bitches that were looking at the Irish cream section. And this chick comes in, and she knew what she was fucking about. She grabs 2 bottles of this Irish cream. It's not Bailey's. They didn't carry Bailey's. Bailey's is too on brand for the Irish cream section. She grabs 2 bottles with her parrot. But okay, her parrot was secure. Her mask wasn't. It was hanging under her nose, which, dear God. But it's like, whatever, just stay away from me. And I will admit, I've been definitely a little weird when I do go out. I didn't want to go out, be out for too long, but I did want to get, I want to make some holiday drinks. Like, I make a mean hot toddy, a dark and stormy. I love bourbon and rum is what I'm telling you. But this woman, grabs her 2 things. She looks at me and the 2 other girls that are waiting for her to move so we can get our Irish cream, or consider it, because I ended up not getting some because of this woman. She went, what's going to happen? She looked at us like she's like, my audience, what's going to happen here is I'm going to get home. I'm going to open this, put a straw in it, and that's my day. She's like bobbing her head, and this parrot with her is bobbing to it too. Like he's in time with his owner, emotionally and physically and spiritually, I'm guessing. And right when she tries to move, she hits her cart into a stack of boxes. And I went, oh, like that. I make stupid, fucking high school cafeteria sounds. Someone gets pushed. I'm like, oh, I'm that dick. But she took that as oh, we're friends now. And she went, do you know about this? And da-da-da. And just started grilling me about this liquor that's made by this former Dallas Cowboy. And I asked her to be more specific. I don't know why. And then she started following me with her mask poorly in place and her parrot talking about vodka. And it finally got to this point where I'm like, oh, I have to check out. And she went, oh, yeah, me too. And I went, oh, I forgot something. And I hid behind some Topo Chicos until she left. That was my holiday in a nutshell. Was it worth it? Was the rum, was the bourbon worth it, Terry? And I would argue yes. But the way she wore her mask, I would argue, is stupid. But, here we are. She had an emotional support parrot. I didn't. I'm pretty sure she had the higher ground, legally. And with that random little snippet, I'm going to leave you guys. Stephen and I will be taking off January and February because of our current workload. I really hope that you guys understand that. We will be back in March with a new episode. Probably still solo, which there might be a revamp of the website and such to kind of reflect the newer Obscure Chatter, which is just me, a microphone, and a mystery movie or television episode. But I hope you guys are staying safe and that you're finding a way for the bright bits to make it in with all the darkness surrounding it. I really love you guys. Please stay safe. Happy holidays. Eat good shit. Drink good shit. Watch good shit. Mwah.